You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers, but we do have Garrett, and that's good enough for me.
Good morning, Pack Daddy.
What's up, dude?
It is a Victory Monday, and I'm calling in to just say
Someone's at the front door.
thank goodness for our defense.
Yeah.
Because the second half of that game, at one point, the Vikings were net negative yards in that game. And I couldn't tell you, Ryan, how many yards they ended up with, but I know it was probably under 25 yards or 30 for the game. And that is just freaking insane for any NFL team. To hold someone else to that is insane. I've been daydreaming about games like that.
Yeah.
I honestly have been daydreaming about the defense doing that very thing. And they sure did show up. Now, knowing that Love is still probably really dealing with a sore, dislocated shoulder is what I'm now hearing. What they did yesterday on offense, I will not criticize one bit. I understand what they had to do. And a lot of people were speculating, they aren't putting anything on tape for Detroit. Well, at the same time, there's a lot of guys that did get rest. Josh Jacobs got rest yesterday. And I look at it like they'll have just a scenario where the guys that didn't play yesterday are going to be a lot more ready and rested for Thursday. Golden and guys like that. So looking forward to it. Turkey Day is upon us almost. So just curious, Ryan, are you cooking a turkey this year, or are you going to the in-laws? And what are you making? Have a happy Thanksgiving, guys.
So I kind of already talked about it, but I'm sad to report I don't have the duties of making all the meat and all that kind of stuff. That is going to be delegated to my host. That's how it goes. So I'm probably going to be making sides. But as I said, I think I want to do it anyways. I've never done a turkey, and I feel like that's a little crazy. So I need to work on that. Turkeys and chickens, rather than just getting chicken breast or whatever. Start working on some spatchcock, or just getting some whole chickens, whole turkeys. Probably save a good amount of money that way. And I like, just for stocking up on my meat, grabbing just a little rotisserie chicken, bringing it back, pulling it all and all that. Why not just do that if you can learn how to do it? Maybe it's not worth it. Maybe it's kind of like baking bread, which I would like to try sometime, but it's like, bro, bread is free. I don't know what we're trying to accomplish here. But I do want to try to see how that process goes, see if I can get good, especially turkey, because it kind of seems like it's up my alley as far as, brining, injecting. You can really get it good. You can really. And I think turkey has a bad rap. I never understood that. I didn't know that. As a kid growing up, you have turkey on Thanksgiving, oh, heck yeah, bro, turkey with gravy and mashed potatoes, and this is the best thing ever. And then all of a sudden, I get older, and it's oh, turkey, I hate turkey, everyone hates turkey. What are you talking about? Who hates turkey? Turkey's delicious. Deli turkey is dog crap, I'll grant you that. Nobody likes deli turkey. That's horrible. But, turkey breast? Turkey legs? Are you kidding me? I don't understand what we're talking about here.
Hey, Ryan, it's Ben from New York again.
Yo.
Just calling because I got to say, I don't understand why people are so upset about the game plan from yesterday.
I don't know.
Because the true reality is that, in my opinion at least, it was the perfect game plan. we were imposing our will on the Vikings, and there was nothing they could do about it.
Right.
We've been on the receiving end. As Packers fans, we've been on the receiving end of games like that, where teams just keep running it and running it and running it, and there's nothing we can do about it. But the best part about yesterday is we dominated. We got out healthy, at least as far as I can remember. I don't think anyone got injured. We got out healthy. We dominated, and we have a short week. That was the perfect game plan. We got out quick. It was a very quick game. So why are people complaining? Like, we have a short week. We're probably going to need to rely on Jordan Love a little bit more on Thanksgiving against another divisional opponent, probably the toughest divisional opponent, no matter what the standings say, Bears fans. So, in my opinion, great game plan. And the only other thing I got to say is Micah Parsons. Micah freaking Parsons. Man, it feels good to have that guy on our team. Go Pack, go.
Well, yeah, and I mean, how quickly we forget. This is what teams spent the offseason trying to do. They spent the offseason, Packers included, and the Lions, and the Vikings, and the Bears, and pretty much everybody saying we need to bolster our offensive and defensive lines so that we can win these kinds of games in these kinds of ways. And we just did it. Now, I don't know if we can do it against better opponents. Our offensive line, defensive line are kind of the weakness right now. But the fact that we lined up and did it should be a good thing. And instead, you listen on ESPN as they're talking about, that win was boring. Like, jeez. Oh, I'm so sorry you were bored as we beat the living crap out of the Vikings. I'm so sorry for you. Still like spoiled kids getting presents on Christmas and complaining about it.
Yo, Ryan, it's your Uncle Rico.
Yo.
Hey, the Packers. Yeah, Victory Monday, baby. Kamal Hadden. Did he? Who the hell do we play? The Vikings. Did the Vikings only gain 4 yards in the second half? That's what I heard. I didn't bother to look it up because, yeah. Anyways, that's what I heard. 4 yards. If that's true or not. I mean, either way, if it wasn't 4 yards, it wasn't very many yards. So apparently Kamal did a pretty decent job. And yeah, the whole defense, obviously. And I'm happy with the offense and the way it went down. So if anybody's not happy, especially anybody who claims themselves, I don't care about anybody else, all the national media and whatnot, they can kiss my hairy ass. The hairy old ass.
Thank you for the visual. Specific visual.
Yeah, but the Packer fans who are whining about it, oh, dude, get a life. Get something. If you can't be happy about a victory and a blowout victory and a blowout victory within our division, jeepers creepers. I mean, granted, we didn't play a great team, but who cares? We won. We could have lost. We could have tied. So we're going to play the Lions on Thanksgiving. It's going to be glorious. We're going to win. Turkey's going to be glorious. Everything's going to be glorious. My crock pot mushrooms are going to be glorious. My turkey's going to be glorious.
Yep.
My turkey hangover and nap in the middle of the Packer game is going to be glorious. It's all going to be glorious. Go Pack, go!
Well, I'm excited for the glory.
Yo, Brian, it's your uncle. Yo, I have a thought exercise for the freaking tards out there. If the Packers were given the opportunity to trade Romeo Doubs for Christian McCaffrey, just trade him, would that be something they should do? Of course it's something they should do. Not a knock on Romeo Doubs, but it's Christian McCaffrey. Guess what, guys? Christian McCaffrey's a running back. Guess what he does? He runs the ball. So, don't be stupid. Rico out.
Yeah, man. Don't be stupid. I don't know that I followed that, but that's all right. I'm sure everybody else did. So, thank you, Rico. All right, yeah, we'll keep going.
Man, Ryan, I tell you what. Oh, wait, my bad. It's I'm sorry. I'm like looking at a bunch of fire trucks and stuff outside the house. I just woke up. So I didn't realize all this was going on. So like, there's a bit of chaos happening outside. But anyway, just our list. Woke up, grabbed my phone, checked messages, all that good stuff. Went to X. I'm gonna call it Twitter. X sounds like I'm going to
Yeah,
a
I
porn
still
site.
struggle with that.
I went to Twitter. Victory Monday. Check out what everybody's saying. See what you're saying. See what Clayton's saying. Andy, all the good fanalists. And anyways, man, it was flooded with people complaining about the play calling, complaining that we ran so much. And I feel like all last night, instead of enjoying the victory, I was debating people as to why this is an exception to all the other things. Like it's when you're running the ball a million times and it's working, run the ball. Did we forget the NFC Championship game when the 49ers literally just ran the ball all over us?
Well, and I feel like as fans, we've been saying, we just want you to do what works, right? That's what the main complaint has been with a lot of Packer fans, is the idea that we know that this works, but Matt LaFleur just won't do it because blah, 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 blah. Are we finding out that the fans are full of crap and they just want Matt LaFleur to do a certain thing? Because it seems that way. Because now he did the same thing he's been doing, and it worked, and he didn't give up on it, and they were mad. I kind of think you all are full of crap. You don't want him to do what works. You just want him to do what you want him to do. And you're just pretending that it's because it would obviously work. I don't know, man. A lot of new questions arising as this is a new one for me. After winning a game like this, complaining after a win is not unusual. But complaining after this type of win is really unusual to me.
I think Garoppolo had barely double-digit passes that game because we couldn't stop the run. So then why change it? And this is the same thing. We got a game on Thursday. Our quarterback's hurt, right? Our defense is dominating. At no point did anyone feel like the Vikings had a chance in this game. J.J. McCarthy's looking like he, probably shouldn't even be allowed to play high school football, let alone the pros. All these, conditions that literally say, hey, if running the ball is working, run the ball. We're down on number one running back. We're trying to I can name a dozen reasons why the game plan yesterday was the right game plan, and yet people can't even enjoy the victory. Complaining because it didn't look flashy enough, because we didn't pass enough, because we didn't win the way they wanted the Packers to win. And it's just insane. I mean, we got Peter Poo-Poo-Face Bukowski, and remember, him and us are not the same. He does this for a living, I guess. Literally complaining that Matt LaFleur is not creative, and this is an ongoing problem. It's just like, man, oh my gosh. When people say that we are an ungrateful and spoiled fan base, like I promise, the past couple seasons, I'm really seeing that. And I've been guilty of it too. But even with me, I feel like it's a little bit measured, and I quickly come down and I retract crazy things that I say during the game. Hence why I stopped tweeting and even looking at Twitter during the game.
Same.
But anyhow, yeah, I'm just going to take a step back and just not even engage in Packers stuff. Well, minus the podcast. I'm not going to get engaged in any Twitter stuff until Thursday. I'm not going to let these people piss me off before a big game. Yeah. All right, brother.
It's almost good that it's a short week. You would think, man, it'd be nice to have some time to celebrate this victory before we have this big, tough opponent coming up. But if everyone's just going to whine about it, screw it. Let's just, next game, next man up. I don't, freaking ridiculous, man. All right, we got a ton of Aaron, and we're kind of flying through these pretty quick. So why don't we take a break here? We'll be right back.
Hey, Ryan. Hey, Aaron from Eau Claire. Hope everyone is doing good out there in Packerland after a great Packers victory. The only problem with yesterday was the fact that the Lions did not lose to the Giants, even though, the Giants really gave them a run for their money, and that the Bears beat the Steelers, which, I mean, come on. Mason Rudolph, are you kidding me? That's so embarrassing. Like, I mean, out of all the backup court, like Jameis Winston, Joe Flacco, those guys are guys that can play. You know, they can throw the ball.
Sure.
They're established quarterbacks. They've done something in the league, and they've got, you know, really good skills as a quarterback. But Mason Rudolph has done jack. He's just
only thing he ever did is get hit in the face with a helmet.
Bad or mediocre
His own
for an NFL quarterback. So I don't know. That's I hope that's a sign that when we get into their building or they come to our place that we will take him to town. But that's the only thing that bothered me about yesterday. Really, is the fact that those teams didn't lose, but they did have tons of points put up on them by mediocre teams. So
yeah.
And the other thing is Jared Goff. We are going to completely terrorize him on Thursday, unless something completely crazy happens. But like, he is going to be absolutely like running for his life on Thursday. I think. I hope.
Well, again, that's where the run defense has to come in. I mean, the Lions aren't stupid. They know that that's a weakness for them. You know, so they don't want to pass. As much as, you know, Packer fans and the Packers are sitting here looking like, oh, we're going to get them. It's like, okay, well, I'm not passing, so. And if we can't stop the run with that pretty solid duo, that neutralizes a lot. If we can stop the run, I think they're screwed. Because now you're forcing a quarterback who's terrible under pressure to drop back against this pass rush. Now, we're still going to have to pull some stuff off because Amon-Ra St. Brown underneath, you know, on these crossing routes or what. Like, they can still do some damage, so it's not like automatic. With the quick passing game, you know, a 3rd and 6 or a 3rd and 9.
From upstairs. Dad, come upstairs.
I'm being summoned. Let me push this button here. Coming. Here we go. Okay. It's not that hard to convert quickly. You know, Jared Goff can get the ball out of his hand in 2 seconds and convert that. So there, you know, it starts with stop the run, and then, you know, we have to maybe be a little aggressive on this shorter passing game, which I don't think we've really done. There's a part of me, and again, I'm doing that thing where I'm like, hey, maybe we should stop doing what's working. But there's a part of me that says, what if we did dare them a little bit to chuck the ball? Would they even do it? If we started getting more aggressive at the line and taking away the shorter passing stuff so that we could kind of pin our guys' ears back and go get the quarterback, I don't know. Maybe, probably not. We're probably not going to do that. But I just worry about the run the ball, quick passing game because I think Goff can do that very well. I think their run game can handle that pretty well. The idea largely just being, you know, eventually they'll make a mistake. Yeah, but that's less true of better teams and veteran quarterbacks and guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown and, you know, talented tight ends and, you know what I mean? It's less likely to happen than against, like, you know, the Vikings and J.J. McCarthy.
But yeah, what a dominant win that was against the Vikings. What an embarrassing mistake to take J.J. McCarthy over some of the other guys, and also to choose J.J. McCarthy over Sam Darnold. Like, that looks like the worst decision ever right now. Like, why would you change off of a guy that's like absolutely dominating at quarterback play when you have a complete unknown riding in the wings? Like, why not do the Jordan Love thing? Let him go. Let Sam Darnold go until he proves he can. That's my whole thing. It's like, dude, J.J. McCarthy, he's young. He has plenty of time. Like, there's no rush to get him out there when you have a guy who's playing at the level that Sam Darnold has been playing at. So that's embarrassing. I'll call right back.
Ready, set, go.
Hey, part 2. So yeah, that's embarrassing for them. Yeah, I don't know. Like, that was so fun to watch the Packers actually not make mistakes. Like, that's literally all they need to do from here on out is just not make mistakes, because I think their talent level is high enough where if they can just not make mistakes, they're going to make plays. And holy crap, Emmanuel Wilson, what a stud. I remember watching him in the preseason and really loving what I saw and feeling like this guy could have something. But that was just unbelievable. And to think that we have Josh Jacobs coming back and Emmanuel Wilson, that's incredible. And I think sometimes the silver lining with some of these injuries is that we actually get to see some other alternatives that may be better than we thought. Like, even at the O-line. Like, you get some injuries on the O-line, but maybe Sean Ryan is actually the best center in our world. Maybe he's the one that we should be having leading that O-line at center from now on, because they've looked a lot better. They've looked a lot more, especially in the run game, like a lot more polished. And so I don't know, maybe a lot of the struggles this season that have happened in some of these more like frustrating games, maybe a lot of them are just like shuffling around personnel and like having a hard time figuring out who's your best guys. Like, I think the Packers, to their credit, they like to pick versatile O-linemen and shift them around at different spots, but I think that really hurts their consistency when they have injuries. And I think sometimes just like having to move someone somewhere and then finding out they're really good, hopefully that allows them to just like have more consistency going forward once they've discovered who's good at what, you know. And maybe that's why certain teams take a while to coalesce. Like, the Packers seem to have taken a while to coalesce, but maybe that's because at the beginning of the season, like, certain coaching staffs like the Packers like to move pieces around, kind of have a little bit of a test kitchen, so to speak, and see who's good at what and who can do what, so that by the end of the season you have a really good idea. So that's I guess the plus side. One sec, I'll give you one more call.
All right, two more, but here you go.
All right. So that's one theory that I have, is that certain coaching staffs, one of the reasons they struggle earlier on in the season is because they're trying to figure out different maybe configurations of their team. Maybe they don't even know that they're doing that, but maybe they just sort of, they're trying things, and sometimes those things don't work, but by the end of the season, they've established an identity by trial and error. You know, sometimes you have to, what do they say, an expert is somebody who has done all the wrong things along the way, that you have made all the mistakes you can make in that area, so that you can sort of see what's truly there. And maybe I hope that's what this team is doing. But man, oh man, Micah Parsons has established himself as the absolute critical piece of this defense. But we have studs all over that defense. I mean, I'm loving Isaiah McDuffie. That guy is an absolute just maniac. Like, he's a flawed player, but he's one of my favorite flawed players because he's just such a maniac out there. Like, he's just laying the wood. And then Evan Williams has played lights out. He's making plays everywhere. Man, it is awesome to watch them just terrorize and, like, shut down opposing offenses. I mean, how many times have they taken a field? How many times has the opposing team taken their offense down the field into the red zone and then tried to go for it on 4th and short and gotten stuffed? That's happened at least a few times in the last month, and that is awesome. And even special teams looked good yesterday. Like, they actually made a game-changing play, which is insane because it was almost like the Twilight Zone. I was like, did the Packers just execute on special plays? Like, there's no penalty? We got the ball back and we're going to score? The O-line's blocking for the running back? What is this universe we're living in? This is insane. So my only hope is that this goes forward as the new norm and we can just dominate the next couple of weeks. Because I think if we win the next 2 games, I think we're in amazing position to win the division. Go Pack Go. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. See you on the other side.
Yeah, there's been probably a lot more experimenting with the Green Bay Packers than with a lot of other teams. Part of that is coming down to just newer players, younger players. It's not like a guy that's been playing left guard for your team for 7 years. You don't need to try to figure out where that guy's going to play. Factor in all the injuries and everything else that have forced us to kind of realign everything. We think we have an offensive line, and then this guy gets hurt, so we got to move him over here. And then he comes back, and it's just been nonstop. And so that is going to be a big part of moving forward, trying to be consistent is to be consistent. I mean, injuries happen, but you have to come into it week 1 and say, this is our team. Not just our offensive line. Like, this is the offensive line. These are our receivers. This is our quarterback, tight ends. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With the exception of just a small pile of, like, rookies, we pretty much know what we're doing and who goes where and when and how and all that. But yeah, hopefully, again, it's hard to gauge because it's one game, which, anomalies happen in football, and it's also against a bad team. But you certainly hope that we're moving in a positive direction, but only time will tell, I guess.
Ryan, it's Double A Ron from Eau Claire. I was just listening to your talk about the game and how everyone in the media after the game was just like almost denigrating this win. And I couldn't agree with you more that it's just ridiculous when a dominant win just isn't good enough. It's one thing when you win, but there's tons of problems. There just wasn't any problems. The only thing that people are saying is a problem is the amount of running to pass. That's it. That's the only thing. Maybe people thought a higher score or whatever would be better. But dude, the game was completely in control. And I don't know, at what point, what are we complaining about? I just don't understand. One thing that I wonder if people realize that you can't do everything all at once. It's literally impossible to have every statistic be the best possible statistic. If you pass a lot, that means your running game probably isn't going to have as many yards. If you run a lot, that means your passing game probably isn't going to have as many yards. Is it a hard concept to understand? What about success doesn't feel good enough to people, I guess. I enjoyed that win, every minute of it. And I don't care if they run it or if they pass it. Remember in the playoffs when who was that guy from the San Francisco 49ers ran for 300 yards or something against the Packers? That was unbelievable. And we felt humiliated after that loss. It was what is wrong with our team that we got ran for all these yards on? We just did that to the Vikings. And we're sad about it. We were devastated when it happened to us. We are in the enviable position today of having a great win. So anyways, I couldn't agree with you more. Go Pack Go.
I mean, it's just peak. It's annoying. It's just peak whiny Packer fans. Again, when you go through the list, like, well, this isn't good enough. Okay, we fixed that. This isn't good enough. Okay, we fixed that. This isn't good enough. Okay, we fixed that. We have checked every single box in this game. You're now 2-0 in the division, which is a major complaint. The 4-quarter, when are we going to get a 4-quarter game? You got it. When are we going to get a clean, disciplined game? You got it. When are we going to get all 3 phases? You got it. When are we going to beat a team, by a lot or handily or whatever? When are we just going to blow a team out? I know it wasn't 20, but when are we just going to dominate? You got it. You got everything you wanted. Yeah, well, you didn't, it wasn't exciting. Okay, just shut up. Just go away. Go away from me. Watch basketball. Much higher scores. Go watch basketball, please. It's just score, 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 score. It sounds like more your speed. Please go watch basketball. All right, let's take our final break. We'll come back with Jared, the Uber driver.
Howdy, this is Jared Trader, the Uber driver from Houston. One cool thing about this game is it was actually televised because neither the Texans or Cowboys played, but it was, I guess, the biggest game for the market in Houston. No idea, but it was nice. Got to stay at home this time. But did you see that apparently on Saturday before a game, a UAB player stabbed 2 of his teammates? And I guess they still played, obviously. I don't know what the score was or anything, but could you imagine, being part of a fan of a team and then all of a sudden you hear that one of your players decided to stab 2 other players, and so you're down 3 players and one of your players is also a psychopath? That's crazy. And then also, whenever you were listing off the fact that, 6 is pretty good, and, it's not 16th, it's not 15th, it's not 14th. In my head, I just thought of Ricky Bobby, his dad saying, "You ain't first, you last." And I don't know why that popped in my head, but anyways, hope y'all are having a good week. Victory Monday, of course. Go Pack, go.
Well, that was the funny part about that is when he confronted him later about that, he's like, "Well, I was probably drunk when I said that. Hell, that don't even make any sense. You could be second, you could be third, hell, you could even be fourth." Yeah, that's freaking crazy. Daniel Israel Mincy, charged with attempted murder and aggravated assault, stabbed Jasir Peterson and Joshua Underwood at 10 a.m. 10 a.m., dude? You just woke up, grabbed the knife, and went to school. Bro, you just got up. You even have your coffee yet? People are freaking crazy.
Hey, Ryan, I'm following up with my question about what you're going to take for Thanksgiving. And I wanted to ask all the guys, including yourself, what do you think, because everybody says taboo, don't bring up politics at the table. And my family, they're pretty chill. We're all on the same side, so that won't be an issue. So everybody's looking around thinking, okay, who's going to tell a story about what's going on? And, we got a lot of good news on our side of the family because my youngest son got accepted to the best PA school in the country at Iowa.
Cool.
My oldest son passed his certified financial planner exam, which is kind of, I would say, comparable to taking the bar exam for a law. It's very, very, very complicated and difficult, and he passed it on the first try. So we have those things to be thankful for. But, I think the story that I'm going to bring up is Omar in the bathroom because it's a teachable moment, and for everybody needs to hear it. You always have that one uncle that probably does that in the bathroom. So I think I'm going to bring that one up, and everybody will get a good laugh at Omar. Then I'll play the song for him, and it'll be like icing on the cake. So just curious what everybody else is going to talk about around the table.
That's pretty wild, man. I will not be talking about that at the table, but That is pretty funny, man. I'm just glad so many people got so much joy out of that.
Hey, what's up, Brian? Kyle from Madison. It is Victory Monday. Oh, nice to have this today, isn't it? It's kind of a weird feeling too, though, because the Packers ultimately did what they were supposed to do. But as we know from this season, that hasn't always happened. So it's a nice Monday. It seems like a lot of the conversation is mostly focused around how bad the Vikings messed up and how horrible McCarthy was, which fair enough. I'll let the national media grill them for that. It is something to behold, I will say, especially when you look at what Rodgers has done with the Steelers, but Jones and Darnold. I mean, it's just, oh man. And then you see how much they're paying guys. I didn't realize they had the most expensive roster in the league. Holy man, that is a mess, but not our problem. Packers took care of business. And it's kind of a good game to have on a short week, I feel like. Like, not a ton of offensive highlight plays. They did what they needed to do. And it's on to Detroit now, No trap game. They got out of it. They're moving forward. Big game on Thursday. Huge game on Thursday. Game of the year kind of thing. One observation I had, both last week and this week. I guess the analogy I'd use is
very sorry
in music production.
Oh my lord!
With all the apps and digital instruments that you have access to these days, sometimes when you're trying to do you're trying to be creative, write some music, there is a tendency where you can just lean on too many things and you just end up having.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you because I have to let this moment pass here with all the frickin' scanning all the documents. I'm installing a bunch of frickin' libraries in VS Code here, and my computer is pissed. Like, I don't know what this stuff is. We got to scan everything. I'm trying to, 10 different things here? So, my apologies. All right, I think it's done. That's why I just play video games, man. It's less of an issue. Kyle, my apologies. Please continue.
And especially these last 2 weeks where Love goes out, comes back in, and then Jacobs goes out. We're a little limited in what we can do in the tools available. And then this week without Jacobs, kind of the same thing. I feel like it's kind of an apt comparison for the LaFleur offense. Like, sometimes it's like some of the greatest albums ever made were sounded the way they did because they were simple. They only had a couple instruments. The Beatles were a foursome with 3 instruments. Sometimes I think it focuses the mind and makes it so you don't overcomplicate things. You don't have choice paralysis. When you have less tools available to you, it's just like, all right, what do we do well? What do we have to do? And I think sometimes I thought that was good for LaFleur. That's not to say that he can just do that same game plan every week, and I don't think he will. But sometimes I think that kind of a reset is helpful for a play caller like that. So we'll see what this looks like going forward. Man, this is a big game on Thanksgiving. Holy crap. I'm super excited. I think we should feel good, not overconfident, but good. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I think Packers are extremely limited in what they can do with the run game being as big of an issue as it is and with your quarterback being under constant duress. And so I would assume you would need to lean somewhat on schematics to try to compensate. Because if we just stick to basic runs and basic drop back passing, I think it's going to be somewhat problematic. I think I hate that I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but if you fix the offensive line, you fix a lot of this stuff. That gives you more options. Then you can choose to be creative, and if that doesn't work, you can choose to be simple. You can do whatever you want when you're a really good football team. You can pretty much win in any way you want to, so it doesn't matter as much. But you can adjust for your opponent, and you can do all these different things. It's just really difficult when there are these severe limitations being placed on you by whatever the thing may be. Again, the offensive line being the biggest and most obvious one, but losing Tucker Kraft is a big problem that you have to now sort of compensate with, where you've got your receiving guy in Musgrave, who's not as good of a receiver, and you got Fitzpatrick, who's your blocking guy, who's not as good of a blocker. I don't know. it's a freaking jigsaw puzzle every week trying to figure out how can we take these pieces and make them fit so that we beat this particular team. And yeah, the Lions this week are going to be massive. Again, I don't mean to completely discount the Bears. The Bears could beat the Eagles. The Eagles are also a little bit of a fake team. And if they do that, then there's a very serious discussion to be had about them winning the division. But as of right now, the two teams most likely to win the division are playing each other on Thursday. And again, you go find yourself a simulator, and I think what you'll find is more often than not, there's of course scenarios where that's not the case, but in terms of actual realistic scenarios about wins and losses, more often than not, the team that wins this game is going to win the division. So very, very, very big game. And even beyond that, even if you told me today we can't or won't win the division, this is still a big game. In terms of our record, in terms of our record in the division, in terms of our standings in the division, in terms of our standings in the NFC, our ability to get into the playoffs, our standing in the playoffs. I mean, this is potentially our biggest game of the year. The Bears games are going to be also very, very big. We'll see how big by the time we get there, but I think either way, they're going to be really, this Lions game and the two Bears games are critical, and we need the Packers to show up and put their best foot forward.
Hey, Ryan, it's Garrett from Southern Illinois.
Yo.
Just got done watching the highlights again from the game yesterday, and
It was fun.
Man, I guess there's just not enough ways to express how dominant Micah Parsons is. But I'm going to try.
It's crazy.
Yesterday, he had a play where he ran up the middle, and he completely put Kelly on his back with his legs up. I think he was on his back more with his legs up than Kim Kardashian.
I knew something was coming like that. Everything's kind of frozen right now, but I tried to pause it anyways, but it's like, I don't know if it's paused or just frozen, but it's working. It's doing what I want. It's crazy too because he's seen as just a speed rusher, but you look at the power he can generate, and that's what's wild about it. He is shockingly fast and agile and all that stuff. But his ability to push past people, his ability to push through people, I mean, he's doing that while other guys are also trying to block him. He's pushing through triple teams. I mean, he is just an absolute freak of nature.
That's neither here or there. Micah just completely dominated that team, and I'm looking forward to him dominating Detroit. I got a dog that thinks he wants to be friendly to me, so hold on. Anyways, I think against Detroit, a team that he saw week one, we have to remember Micah was on a pitch count, and he wasn't 100%. He still dominated Panay Sewell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that they do put him up the middle more and let Gary take on Panay and Lucas Van Ness on the other side. You know, he ought to have a pretty good game against them up the middle. So let's just hope that they totally dominate the Lions O-line and control that game. And let's just hope they just don't let those running backs run wild, and guys can step up and make some good tackles. I'm out.
Yeah, interestingly enough, just going back and peeking at it real quick, Micah Parsons, obviously he was on a little bit of a pitch count. He still played a decent amount. He was not the big impact player in the game. He had 2 pressures and a sack. Wyatt had 4 pressures and a sack. Van Ness had 4 pressures and a sack. And Rashawn had 5 pressures and a sack. Carl Brooks also had 2 pressures, along with Cooper and Wooden had individual pressures. So, I mean, it was a total team effort in terms of the pressures. The run defense, surprisingly, nobody graded out as elite, which is, I guess, good news because we did a great job against the run, and it wasn't because of something that you shouldn't. That was, something that won't happen again. The only thing that kind of makes you look a little side eye is the fact that Wyatt was our highest run defense grade, at a 69, but Gary was in the 60s, Cooper, McKinney, McDuff. I mean, a lot of guys that have and can and should do better to compensate for Wyatt absolutely not being our best run defender in the game. But I mean, it's a different week. It's a different animal. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're going to need everybody. I think it starts up front and stopping the run. That's going to be the key. I think that's why we dominated them the last time. They could not move the ball, and we forced them to pass, and then we just destroyed them when they threw the ball. That needs to be the formula again, I think. All righty, let's do one more here.
Real quick question, Ryan. I saw at one point in the second half against the Vikings, the defense had held them to minus 22 net yards. And I was just curious what the final yard total was, and was that the least amount of yards that any team has been held to in the second half this season?
I'll hang up and listen. Last call, and you're going to sit here and make me do homework, huh? Shame on you. I got to figure out where I can even find second half stats, I think. So, I don't know, but here's what a couple things I did find. So, there was a CBS Sports article. Vikings totaled 4 net yards and 3 turnovers in the second half. The Vikings hadn't finished a half with as few as 4 yards of total offense since at least 1991, which is as far back as Sports Radar's research goes on the subject. So, there is no data anywhere showing a game where the Vikings, at least specifically, have had a half that bad. And again, I don't know for sure, but I would guess it is the best from this year because I did find the Bears had 4 total yards in the first half against the 49ers last year. It was the lowest in any half by any team since at least the 2000 season. Now that's total yards and not net yards, but I would just guess that it's the lowest of the year, but I don't know. And that's the best shot you're going to get from me. All right, I'm out of here. You all have a good rest of your night. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.